How are you, everybody? We are off Thursday, September 30th. This is the Armani and Edwards program, The Bottom Line on Woodward Sports. Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards.
Yes.
How you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. Here at Hall Financial, this is a great setup that they have here, man. Just enjoying myself with the group, man. See everybody out there having a good time. Listen to a great
make
interview.
some noise.
Make some noise for yourself.
All
There we
right,
go.
Yes.
Let's get the audience involved,
We
man.
are here at the grand opening of Hall Financial's brand new offices in Troy. Have you had a mortgage checkup recently? You should, because you might be paying too much, and you're probably paying too much.
Yeah,
so this is what you do. You go to callhallfirst.com and get that looked at. Somebody will be right on it. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Very important to do, because we're here to entertain you and save you a little bit of money. So
especially
why don't
if
you
tell
go
them
ahead
Maz
and
did
do
it.
that?
Especially if you say Maz did it, it'd be a bigger discount, I guarantee.
All right.
Hi, Maz.
Hi, guys.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm on the kitty camera.
Could barely see
I'm
you over there,
telling
man.
I know.
Look
It's better that way.
You are looking good. How do you feel over there? Because I know being on camera, Maz, is a very uncomfortable thing in the first place. And then secondly, to be on a camera that is right here in your face is doubly troubling, I would assume.
On that big forehead of mine with no head of hair. Yep, it's very uncomfortable. But I'll just pretend it's not on.
At least, Braylon, you know, when you take a photo, tilt down. Get it high, tilt down.
Exactly.
So you got that working for you, Maz.
Yeah, you're not
Thanks,
looking
buddy.
up staring like this.
Hey, big show today. One of your buddies, Tiki Barber, going to be
Excited
on the
about
program
that.
today. He's in the New York Giants Ring of Honor.
He is.
Long-time career in the NFL. One of the greatest running backs, really, to play. 10,000 yards rushing in his career. Went on to have a really good TV career. The Today Show came a call in at the end of his football career.
When the Today Show calls, that's how you know you're doing something.
You know,
right.
I am
New York guys,
shocked
man.
they have not called me yet, to be honest with
It's
you.
always about you.
Oh, man,
It's
I was
always
thinking
about
about
you.
that.
Who are they gonna pull you from Grosse Pointe South?
No,
Number 35.
I never came
number
out of
one
the
in
game,
your heart.
Braylon.
Number one in your heart.
Never came out of the game. But, hey, it's a big day here for us here at Hall Financial. And, again, please call Hall Financial. You could call Hall Financial, but go to the website as well, callhallfirst.com. We're excited to be here and excited for their partnership here on Woodward Sports. Braylon, big day on the station. We're going to have Tiki Barber coming up. We'll talk to him. We'll have Tom Thayer.
Ask him about the Giants. Tom Thayer. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Bears radio analyst. He'll talk to us Lions and
Bears.
Bears.
Great, too.
And speaking of the Lions, the boys on Big D Energy, they had the Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson on today.
I had a chance to listen to that, and it was a great interview, you know, listen to Calvin, just kind of back, you know, kind of taking it all in and just thinking back on the memory the last week, you know, being in front of the fans, getting that honor to receive that golden jacket, then getting his ring in front of the fan base that they did it for him, you know, and that got him out there to play every Sunday, week in and week out. I know it was a great moment for him, and you can just see it and listen to talking to Joy, one of his former teammates.
You know, one of the things with Calvin, too, is we sit there and watch Matthew Stafford and what he's doing in Los Angeles. There is a part of it. Now, I know Calvin's body was broken down. His fingers were all mangled towards the end, and he gave everything he had.
These, huh?
However, put that up for the camera again. Look at that.
It's a talking point.
That is the hand of a former NFL player, a former NFL receiver.
Yeah.
But the thing with Calvin, and you can't help but feel in Barry Sanders a little bit like this, if Calvin was afforded the opportunity to go play somewhere else, the impact he would have had with that new team like Matthew Stafford is doing now.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there were some talks right around the time that he was hanging him up with the Oakland Raiders. You know, that thing came out, and that was a thing. It's something about getting a second chance, being in a place where everything is set up the right way, the ownership, the front office, the coach, the players, the air. You know, you could say the air is even different out there in California for Matt Stafford. It's just something, it takes a toll off of you. It takes unnecessary physical. It takes unnecessary mental just off your plate and allows you to play the game that you love, that he's been playing since he was a youth. You know, it takes you back to Georgia Tech when you were doing it for fun and you were going out there and just catching touchdowns. And I think that's what you see in Matt Stafford. That's what you see in the guys that get a chance to leave a franchise that isn't functioning at the right level, and they go to a place where it is functioning at a high level the right way. They have success, and they just seem like they're living the time of their life. Just watch him on the field. Nothing seems to rattle him. He doesn't seem nervous. He just seems like he's living the dream.
And, Maz, let me bring you into this as well. Just, an overall thought on Calvin Johnson is he's been in the news. We've seen him now at the Hall of Fame and at the ring ceremony at Ford Field over the week, and now on with the Big D Energy show today. He's smiling again.
He is, man. He's healthy. He's happy. He's got his business, which should be all around the NFL. It should be legal. We all know that.
Yeah.
It's sad that they have to hide that they do cannabis. That's a bad thing. But he's good. He's in a great place, and he has a great documentary. I can't wait to watch it tomorrow night at 9 on NFL Network, A Football Life. We got a little preview for you here. Check it out.
At the goal line, Stafford mastered inside slants that used Johnson's giant frame, and no corner could outjump Johnson on fades. So defenses threw more and more bodies at him.
Now we've got a severe double team on. Looked like a gunner on a punt return. No matter how great the receiver is, I have never seen that.
At times, only rulebook technicalities could keep Johnson from scoring.
Once Calvin in the end zone, goes up, got it!
There it is, the Calvin Johnson rule.
With 24 seconds left.
To this
They're
day,
saying
I know,
incomplete.
and that really
man, don't
changes
piss me off, man.
When he came down, the
trajectory of
football
the
touched the
season.
ground.
There you go.
The rule is you have to hang on through the fall.
Listen to Dan Miller.
No catch? Yeah, he caught that. He caught that.
That's Charles
I'm not going to say
Tillman,
nothing.
too.
No, I'm not going to say
Peanut.
nothing.
Love that show.
Yeah, so that's Calvin Johnson of Football Life, 9 o'clock tomorrow on the NFL Network. But, again, Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest to ever wear a Lions uniform, and we're happy to see him smiling again. He looks like he's really comfortable with everything that's kind of happened over the course of the last 5-6 years. Obviously, he wants his money. He deserves his money, and the Lions should give him his money. But that smile is back.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those football stories, or my football story, my football life, my apologies. And the interesting thing about a Calvin is it reminds me like Barry Sanders and Walter Payton, guys that were quiet, guys that played in franchises where there was some turmoil, there was some controversy with the franchise and that individual. You saw how Walter Payton ended his career, Barry Sanders, another one. So it's going to be interesting to not just watch Calvin's story, watch what he did for the Detroit Lions, but it's also going to be interesting to add that the franchise, the front office piece at the end of it. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and he, just getting back to this Matthew Stafford conversation as well. One of the things that he talked about with the guys on Big D Energy, which you can hear live from 11 to 1 here on Woodward Sports, and then, of course, anytime where you can hear podcasts, watch on YouTube and Twitter. He talked about Matthew Stafford as it relates to the ease of playing football when you get away from Detroit. Here's the clip.
Speaking of that, Calvin, you're watching at home. You've got Sundays, Matt Stafford kind of lighting up the league right now with the Rams. What's your take on Matt Stafford and what he's doing now?
Awesome. He's out there. And, the funniest thing, I feel like that first game, I feel like I was watching the game, and I feel like I saw Matthew was like, at some point, it was like, like, is it really this easy? Because it ain't never been that easy in Detroit. So, kudos to Matthew.
You heard it here. Detroit versus everybody. I'm telling you, Detroit versus everybody. We get everything out the mud
just
here.
A dig
it's never been that
right?
easy.
And even when they were 5-0, it wasn't easy. The one year that this franchise started 5-0 under Matthew Stafford, they started 5-0. But in their last 11 games, they were 5-6, didn't even win the division, went to the playoffs, lost in the playoffs. It has never been easy here, ever.
And when you watch and you listen to Calvin talk about watching Matt Stafford so far this season, 2021, where they're 3-0 and leading NFC, it almost seemed like some resentment and like a little bit of envy.
Oh, sure.
Not jealousy because they're great friends and they love each other, but like envy is like, man, I wish I would have had that chance to get somewhere where we were just talking about where it's comfortable. Man, it's nothing like when things are easy, when they line up as they should. They don't always do that way, but you're seeing it right now with Matt Stafford and Los Angeles Rams. It's just lining up easy. Go out there, play football, and we trust you. We take care of you.
Hey, guys, remember the first time he was with us? You guys weren't here yet. We had him on live in the studio, and one of the questions we asked him was, did he want to play for another team? Would you have been a Raider? And you see he just starts thinking. And he comes out and he says, yeah, we asked them to let me go play somewhere else. They said no. I would love to have played with another team. He would have stayed. Even though he was in pain, he would have stayed.
Interesting, too, Maz, because as it relates to your own career, Braylon, you talk about taking one jersey off and putting another jersey on. It does give you, and relate it to your own job. You know, the first time you do something, the first time you walk into a different workplace, you do.
Well, that was my workplace.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah.
It actually happened to me, too.
But you feel the butterflies. You feel a renewed sense of, optimism and enthusiasm when you took that Browns uniform off and put that New York Jets uniform on.
Invigoration.
Come on.
It was invigoration. It was one of those situations where I gave everything I had to the Cleveland Browns. It just did not work. We had losing season after losing season. We did have one winning season, but it just didn't feel good. It never seemed like it changed, regardless of who the head coach was, regardless of the GM, the president, the players that they moved around. It just had that feeling of it's not going to work. So when I was able to get to New York, and they were 3-1 at the time, it just felt different. Like the organization felt different. Woody Johnson, the owner, was on page with what Mike Tannenbaum wanted to do, what Sexy Rexy wanted to do. And then the players, like we had a good group of guys, veteran individuals. It was a breath of fresh air. I started practicing harder, which so I was already at 100% clip, so now I'm 110. I remember Bart Scott had to tell me maybe my first week of being with the New York Jets, I dove for a catch in 7-on-7, and Bart said, "Man, we don't do that here." I said, "My bad. I'm just trying to show up. I don't want to go back to Cleveland." I want to go back to Cleveland.
Bart Scott, one of the greatest quotes of all time. You ready for next week?
Can't wait.
Hey, guys, so we've got Tiki Barber on today, Tom Thayer, Bears radio analyst. We'll get into Lions-Bears coming up in just a little bit. We'll talk to Tiki at 2:36. Also today, we are out at Howell Financial. It is their brand-new offices in Troy. Have you had a mortgage checkup lately? You got to do one of these because now is the time to save as well. Just go to callhallfirst.com for everything you need to know there. Now, a guest that we're going to have on next week. The great Dan Orlovsky.
Speaking of Detroit Lions.
Right? Former Detroit Lion. He is all over ESPN, really knows what's going on. He had an interesting tweet yesterday about some building blocks. We always talk about how do you build this thing? How do you build the Detroit Lions into a championship-winning franchise team? He had some thoughts on that. We'll get to it next. This is Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Yes, sir.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked.
Make sure you
awesome.
download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for our Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season's underway, but you can still draft a new fantasy team each week on Underdog Fantasy. Win cash prizes as well. Through their slick mobile app and user-friendly site, you could join a league and draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you get started with a free $10 when you sign up and make your first deposit with the promo code WSN. So just visit UnderdogFantasy.com, the App Store, or the Google Play Store. Sign up with the code WSN. Deposit $10, you get $10 free. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WSN.
All right, we are right back here on Woodward Sports. Here's the tweet from Dan Orlovsky, getting it thrown up right away. It won't get a ton of national conversation this year, but the Lions have 3 pieces on offense that they can flat out play. Hawkinson, Cephas, Swift. I love the fact that he includes Cephas, by the way, Braylon, and as I'm sure you do too.
Number 87.
Building blocks of the future.
I take credit when I can get it.
With that really good offensive line. And we talk about can you build? Does this team have any building blocks that will be on the team outside of the offensive line and Hawkinson? Can they build anything? Is there a player on this team that will be a part of this team when they compete for a championship? And that's the goal. Whether you think, we should even be putting Lions and championship in the same sentence.
But you have to, though. You have to see it before it happens in order to prepare for it.
You like that list?
I love that list. We've talked about Quintez Cephas and what he was able to do at Wisconsin. I was high on him for the last 4 or 5 years, and he's showing it. The thing I like about him still flying under the radar is he's had some success from Goff, but he still hasn't had the type of level of success where they're going to double team him, where they're going to take him away from Goff, where they may take him out of his game mentally. I think they still match him up one-on-one would allow him to grow. He will continue to grow and be the focal point for Goff. Hockenson, we know what he is. We drafted him that high for a reason, and he's showing it. They got to give him the ball more. They've gone away from him since the Green Bay game, since the first game of the season against the 49ers. Got to get him some passes. Like, he has to be the safety valve, especially over the middle, especially rotating through the formation, getting easy throws out of the backfield, some flat stuff. Get him more involved.
Is there anything such as an easy throw to Hockenson these days? Because if you look at this offense, though, Braylon, it is it seems to the layperson, double team Hockenson and play everybody else straight.
Well, that's why you
up.
move Hockenson across the formation. You put him in motions to keep the linebackers off balance as well as the safeties. So you will allow him to sit down in zones, and Hockenson has to be able to read coverages. If there's a zone, sit down. Nice, easy target for Jared Goff in there. If there's man-to-man, run out of your break and put a nice, easy target for him so he can throw to. And the other one is DeAndre Swift. We talked about that. You saw him at the end of the Green Bay game. And, yes, it was a loss. But the one thing I took out about the end of the game, you saw him jump over the cornerback.
Athleticism.
You saw the moves that he made to play before that. He looked fully healthy. So now let's get him involved. Let's run the offense through DeAndre Swift. The one thing that wasn't mentioned was Jamal Williams. I think he's another person that a two-headed monster. That's what the running back, that's in the NFL. How you have success, you have two running backs, unless your team is just that stacked. You have two running backs, and they have two. They got to get back to the running game with that offensive line, and you got to move Hockenson across the formation. But I love that tweet by Darren Orlovsky because that's about the same things that I've seen so far this season.
Maz, do you like the tweet? Do you like those players that he mentioned?
I do, and it makes you feel a little bit better. But if you notice, there's not a lot of defensive players on that list. So
I knew that was coming.
So that kind of upsets me a little.
Right.
But we're going to talk about maybe the draft coming up next season and a chance to maybe bolster that defense
a little bit.
Well, yeah, because Mel Kiper came out with a list, and we can get more into this tomorrow, but Mel Kiper came out with a list, and what was unique about this list is that of the top 15 players, only one of them is a quarterback, and that one is Malik Willis at number 15.
When's the last time that has happened?
Right? And that's what I'm saying, but that it benefits the Lions in terms of getting defensive help next year because number one player in the country, according to Mel Kiper, is the defensive end out of Oregon, Thibodeau. And then number two is the safety from Notre Dame.
Oh, man, that boy can play.
So you've got two of the best players.
Safety again?
What's that?
You want to take a safety again with a top 3 pick?
Well, yeah, safety is much different than a defensive back, a cornerback.
Okay.
I still wouldn't take a safety over.
Would you take Ed Reed? You wouldn't take Ed Reed?
We're not talking Ed Reed.
Well, I'm just saying,
Ed Reed is a lifetime.
I'll take Deion Sanders, too.
Is a one-time in a generation player. But we knew that coming out, though. Like, we knew those players.
I mean, plenty of time to talk about it, but depending upon how you feel about Jared Goff probably suggests how you feel about this year's coming draft. Because you're going to take the 15th best player at number 2 just because you need a quarterback?
No, I don't think you do that.
You're not.
I think what you do is, Maz, back me up on there. Maybe not. But
trade for Deshaun Watson.
That's another good thing. You see there's been some movement on that front. But, I think it allows you to have more faith in Jared Goff. Know that you're not going to move Jared Goff. So now, trusting what Jared Goff can do, what he's shown you, put him in better opportunities to have some success. You saw what happened in the first half against Green Bay. Had success. How do you have success? Had success in the second half against the 49ers. How did he have that success? What did you do that was successful? Go back to those things in the game. Well, they didn't have a lot of success running or passing the ball against Baltimore, but there is success to be had there behind Jared Goff, and I think this forces you to lean more on him, lean more on putting him in the right situations and moving forward, and maybe he surprises you and you learn something about Jared Goff.
Well, I do like Jared Goff. I think one of the problems I have with Jared Goff is I just look at the model of success in the NFL,
and it's not him.
Well, it just seems like you either have a Hall of Famer or you have somebody on a rookie deal. You're not paying a quarterback $25-26 million who's not a Hall of Fame.
Right. But this is Detroit, and it hasn't worked for us, so maybe we have to look outside the box.
Yeah.
And maybe it is Jared Goff if we put more pieces around him. I haven't seen them put the whole thing together once this year.
Sure.
I'm talking Jamal Williams, talking Swift, Cephas, as well as Hockenson. Now, I'm not naming, a fully loaded Chiefs-type roster, although the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs right now.
Right.
But I'm not naming one of those type rosters, but they just have not put it all together. And until I see that, I'm still optimistic.
Chiefs could have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. Maz, you wanted to say something?
I do. I just want to throw something out there, and it's really hypothetical, and I'm just talking.
Just
would
spitballing.
Would you trade?
That's all of us right now.
Would you trade Jared Goff and your 2 number ones next season for Deshaun Watson?
Zero chance.
No.
Not even
I'm
0.5.
I'm asking, would you do it?
Me?
Yeah, you're the GM.
I tell you, 0%.
Yeah.
Not even 0.5%. Because I don't know if he's going to be available.
No, you're going to know. You're going to know. The NFL's going to tell you he's going to be available.
Well,
we're going to settle.
If he's available, yes.
So you're doing that.
So 2 ones.
I would do
And Goff.
Our number ones this year coming up.
Not 2 number ones this year. I give Goff and a 1.
No, they're not going to do that.
Well, then they don't have to. I don't need him.
They can kiss your butt.
Really? You don't want Deshaun Watson?
I don't want him for that price.
That's not a price.
That's a price.
That's a price.
Because, Maz, there's no indication that says that Deshaun Watson is not going to perhaps allegedly make any more mistakes.
He's not going to make any more mistakes, and I'm telling you,
scare.
He's clean. We're telling you he's going to be able to play.
So
Roger Goodell said he's able to.
Yeah.
It's hypothetical.
I'd have to think. I would not give 2 number ones this year.
Well, you're not going to get him for 1.
I'd give him Goff, a 1,
and a 2,
and a 2 next year.
Take a walk. They're going to go to Miami.
Well, let him go to Miami.
Okay.
Give me Tua.
So you don't want him.
I don't know
Top
if I
4
want him.
quarterback in the league.
Yes.
What is he? 26 years old.
This is what you want.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But not him.
I like Deshaun Watson I love Deshaun Watson as a player. I don't know if I can trust.
He's a
Deshaun
good guy.
Watson.
He made some mistakes.
There's 25 civil lawsuits out on him. 25.
And I really don't. And I don't know what the scoop is on it. I'm just saying that.
I'm just saying if you're telling me he can play, I'd think about it. But he's 26. So is he going to make some of the same mistakes allegedly again? I don't know.
Braylon, what do you think?
No, I wouldn't do it. All
right.
I wouldn't do it. The only reason I wouldn't do it is because I think you're building something here in Detroit, and this has nothing to do against Deshaun Watson because I actually am a huge fan. We've talked about this before the season even started. Huge fan of Deshaun Watson. I think I don't want to comment on that. It's none of my business. But I just think it'd be tough in the start of what you've done with the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, you're building a franchise from scratch, essentially. You're building players with your identity the way you want them. That just is too much. It's too big of a difference.
I know it don't help him with the defense.
It
you
just
need
does.
defense.
Not only that, though,
maybe you get a couple of Texans number 2 picks or something like that. I'm just like I said, it's just hypothetical.
No,
I think it comes with a lot of baggage.
I think it's just so hard. If everything is equivalent, if he's available, if he's healthy, if all these lawsuits go away, you'd have to really think about it. But it's so hard on the spot to consider that all of that stuff is going away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I just gave you a clean slate. That's all I started with.
If you told me that
there's no baggage anymore,
he's one
they
of the
settled.
top 3 quarterbacks in the league.
If you told me that David Blau was my starting quarterback, then yes, I'd do it.
Right.
Like if you told me David Blau was my starting quarterback, there was no Jared Goff, then I would do it. But the fact that you're telling me Jared Goff is my starting quarterback and we're trying to figure things out, I wouldn't do it.
Lions and Bears this weekend, guys, and we're going to get into that with Tom Thayer. He is the Chicago Bears radio analyst and
one of the Bears greats too.
And he's one of the 100 greatest Chicago Bears. This game is so intriguing, isn't it? I mean, you've got 2 teams desperate for a win. Yeah. Are the Lions going to lose to a team that are going to fire their coach if they lose to the Lions?
So what does that say about us?
Are you kidding? The talk in Chicago is that if the Lions beat the Bears, Chicago's going to fire their coach.
Well, I think Matt Nagy has been negligent all season. I think he started Andy Dalton when he should have started Andy Dalton. He should have went with Justin Fields. It just doesn't seem to have it. You bring Justin Fields in because you have to, and you put him in a terrible situation. The young man was sacked 9 times. You talk about a confidence. Maybe that's why he hasn't played him, because he knew the offensive lineman was trash.
I mean, we'll get get there. We got Tiki Barber coming up in about 12 minutes from now. I want to get to some more NFL. The Patriots will not have one of their starters. The Patriots won't have Tom Brady, but they're not going to have one of their starters coming up as well. Want to get you some quarterback rankings as well. Lots to get to. Also, guys, we are here at the grand opening of Hall Financial's brand new offices in Troy. Have you had a mortgage checkup lately? We need you to do it.
ASAP.
Please let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Look, you gotta save yourself some money.
1650 Research Drive, baby.
Seriously, you're a homeowner. Your wife's looking at you. She's going through the checkbook. She says, "Man, we pay a lot for our mortgage."
She won't be your wife too much longer.
Hall First Finance. Call hallfirst.com. Call hallfirst.com. Just do it. You'll save your family some money and yourself too.
You'll save your family.
Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
But make sure you say Ryan.
Well, you can
his name carries more weight.
Name drop. It doesn't mean. Well,
hey, I'm an actual customer.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I forgot about
how'd it go
there.
for you?
It's going great.
He's at the kitty
Gets
table.
better
I forgot
every time.
he's over there.
And his dad delivered all 3 of my girls. What more do you want?
Right. How do you not?
How do you
all
not?
right,
It's
guys.
the 49ers.
All right. Ermani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Papa Romano's handcrafts pizzas have made them a Detroit favorite for over 50 years. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decades.
I am
Houseman.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm on
You don't
camera.
have to feed them.
House-made
Joey, let
goat
me see
hand-cut veggies and the cheese make all the difference. Same quality goes in all their pizzas, subs, salads, pizzas. Oh, my God.
What's happening here?
It's brilliant. I love it. I love you guys. Go to paparomanos.com right now.
Hello.
Opa!
Opa.
Hey, man, save it this time. Save it this time.
Okay. Thanks.
Broadwell, keep your eye on that pizza.
Keep your eye on the Papa Romano's pizza.
That's a good pie right there.
How was it?
That was a heck of
Well,
a
I mean,
that was a
stupid
heck of a
question.
surprise. See, that was a
That
real
was a dumb
surprise. I
question.
didn't know that one was coming today.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. I didn't smell it, but gosh darn it, it hit me.
That is fantastic.
Did you check? I was reading. I didn't even read the notes.
Well, see, you're blocked by these monitors over here. I looked beyond the monitor, and I saw Joey coming in
you
with
saw him.
something, and I was like, oh, man, he's going straight for Braylon. He's not even going to have
Joey's
the
on my
courtesy to
Christmas
come.
list this year, buddy.
Come on over here. Hey, let's continue on with some NFL if we could. The Patriots are losing a guy that was one of Tom Brady's old reliables.
Oh, man. Yeah,
And
he
if
was.
you played fantasy football, by the way, this guy in the playoffs in a PPR, you don't even know what PPR is, do you? Point per reception. You're not a fantasy football guy.
He doesn't gamble.
I just played the game.
After further
I play blackjack.
After further medical examinations, Patriots running back James White expected to miss the rest of the 2021 season due to a hip injury. That is from Field Yates and Adam Schefter. A hip injury, Braylon, that just doesn't sound good for a guy that, you know, in a
Runs
sport
for a
where
living.
you drive with your hips.
Whenever I think about hip, I always go back to Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Like whenever you hear hip injury, Maz, you know, the one on the sideline against the
Heartbreaking.
Bengals, you know, his hip comes out of the socket.
Oh.
And it's crazy because he told the doctor what happened, and they didn't believe him forever until they realized this will really happen.
Wasn't that in a playoff, too?
No, it was regular
That was
season
regular
game.
season?
Regular season game. It was in Cincy. So, but the thing about them losing James White is they haven't really used him since Tom left. And you almost could argue when Tom was there the last couple of years, they haven't seen a way to find him. He's has more reception yards than he does rushing yards every season. So this would have been a good weapon for Matt Jones in my mind. Get him the ball because he does so many things well out of the backfield. He's good in the slot as well. He does some of the stuff that Edelman and Welker did when they were there. This could have been a good player for Matt Jones, a young quarterback that's trying to figure it out, but he gets hurt. So, prayers up to him, and it's a tough loss.
For both of you guys, Braylon, I'll start with you. I saw Mac Jones had a quote yesterday at the media session, or maybe it was this morning actually, when asked what it's going to be like to go against Tom Brady at Foxborough.
Oh, man.
And he said, Well, I really don't see it as a one-on-one game.
That's
We're
BS.
11 on 11, and this, that,
Belichick got to him.
And it
Belichick got to him.
If there was ever a person that was ideal to replace Tom Brady and play for that organization, it's Mac Jones. He didn't even mention Tom Brady. Talked about the opponent, talked about the teams, 11 on 11. It was as good an answer as you will find.
You could tell that Belichick has already taught him well, and you could tell that he's had some training because it's not like it's just Belichick. Where's he coming from? He's coming from Alabama. Who's the coach at Alabama and a good friend of Belichick? So he's been conditioned to already be in the Belichick mindset when answering questions, when talking to the media. But he's full of it, and I'll tell you why. Mac Jones is a quarterback that probably grew up idolized. He's at that age. All he knows in this Super Bowl era for him and his 22 years on earth is Tom Brady. Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. He's married to Giselle. He's amazing. He's out there in front of the world. Like, this is as big as a game as he's ever had in his life, and I guarantee you, as soon as he got drafted, which he already knew he was going to get drafted by the Patriots, he circled this game, and Maz, he has been licking his chops, and he's been waiting. The only thing I'm eager to see is he going to play against Tom in his mind? Is he just going to go out there and play the game and then be a fan after the game, or is he going to fan out the whole game?
I don't know, man. We heard Tom E. Curran yesterday on our show, and he said these two guys, he kind of gives the edge to Belichick. He wants Belichick, thinks Belichick wants it more or needs it more. We all know he needs it more because Tom already won a Super Bowl. It's just a regular season game when it comes down to it. But personally, I think Brady wants to really stick it to him here and win it for himself.
Not to mention they lost last week. And all you've been talking about, Ryan, is Tom hasn't done what ever in his career? Go undefeated, including winning the Super Bowl. Well, that's off the table. So now what's the next best thing? Or I can go up to Foxborough and hang 50 on Belichick.
Not only that, Braylon, but if you look at Tom Brady's career, obviously he has beaten 31 other teams. He's got at least one win against 31 teams in the National Football League. There is one team who he has never beaten.
Yeah.
It's the New England Patriots.
He hasn't
played them ever. This is his first opportunity. This would be, I believe, one quarterback who would have a win over all 32 teams.
Fitzpatrick hasn't done it yet?
Fitzpatrick hasn't done it.
He's probably got a loss against every team.
Exactly.
This is true.
To have a win.
Oh, he did do that. You're right about
all
that.
All 32 teams would be something that I know he wants.
Yeah, so that'd be amazing. I mean, that'd be another thing that Tom has done that no one has done. Like, Tom is stacking up on things that no one else has done in the history of the sport. And it's just amazing to watch. And just keep in mind, like, we are analysts, so we have to commentate on it. We have to do it for our job. We have to enjoy it to a certain extent. But do we ever just take a second to step back and just see what we're admire what we're seeing and what we're watching?
Maz, and Tommy Curran mentioned it yesterday as well. This is the most anticipated NFL regular season game
ever
in the history of modern NFL, I would think.
I would think.
And we're going to have to hear about it from Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth all day long, how they have the best game of the week. I mean, never mind. That's a sidebar to the story. I hope the game's good. I think, personally, it's a mismatch on the field. It's a 7-point spread. They're an underdog. When do you ever see the Patriots a 7-point underdog at home? And I know this is not the old Patriots.
Right.
They have a rookie quarterback, and they're going against the world champions. I think Tampa should cover that number, be perfectly honestly.
All right, great stuff. We do have him on the phone, Alex. Hi, how about it? Let's get to it without further ado. He is in the New York Giants Ring of Honor.
Yes, he is.
He is a former running back in the National Football League, one of the greats. He's an author, a co-host of Tiki and Tierney on CBS Sports Radio, and one of Braylon's friends. Tiki Barber, how you doing, sir? Thanks for the time.
What's up, boys? I'm doing great. How are you all, man?
I'm doing good. Tiki, the shoe's on the other foot. I get to interview you this time. I don't have to take there and be interviewed. Shoes on the other foot now, buddy.
Just don't be harsh on me, man.
No. We're light. We're gonna be nice and easy.
Tiki, I'll tell you,
nothing but love here.
This guy is as persistent as it gets, isn't he? Isn't he great?
Oh yeah, he is. I love that though. You have to be that way, man.
Yeah.
You know, in this industry, it's easy to get dismissed. I'll get back to you. I get back to you. You got to keep hammering. So I'm glad I'm here though. Appreciate,
appreciate
you,
you.
Braylon.
Thank you for coming on. You want to take the lead?
Yeah, sure. Tiki, just we were just talking about Tom Brady in this big game on Sunday Night Football. The Buccaneers going to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. I can't think of a bigger regular season game in the history of the National Football League, at least in the modern era, that I can remember. How do you view it? Just talk to me about your thoughts about Brady going back to Gillette.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just another game. It's the next one in line. And if you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got to get yourself back on track after getting a little bit run out of the building by the Los Angeles Rams, who might be the best team in football with Matthew Stafford now under Sean McVay. So I think for the Bucs and Brady, he'll be smashing this thing back to normalcy. And, from the Patriots side, that's all Bill Belichick is going to do. Just another game, we're on Tampa Bay. He did take some extra questions regarding how his history with Tom Brady, which I was very surprised about. In fact, he made a joke 2 days ago when he walked into the media room and was like, any stories this week? So maybe there's some levity creeping in because of the reverence he has for Tom Brady. But I got to tell you guys, the one thing that I've seen all week long is how this is going to be, I don't know, distractionary. God, Tom Brady's going to be distracted. He's going to be emotional. No, he's not. Tom Brady has never been distracted. He's never been emotional. And the only thing that works in his favor is when he gets upset and he's emotional. And that doesn't portend good things for the team on the other side. So I think both of these teams, led by Tom Brady on the field and Bill Belichick off the field for the Pats, are going to be as focused as any to make sure that this game is played right and not with the emotion that a lot of people are projecting upon it.
Hey, Tiki, quick pivot. I heard you mention Matt Stafford, so let's take it out to the West Coast and the Los Angeles Rams. I heard you say the other day, you talked about the Los Angeles Rams team of 2019 was kind of a smoke and mirrors team, that this team that they have now, like this is the team, like the transition from Goff to Matt Stafford has given them everything they need to go forward and actually be that playoff team. And when they get to the Super Bowl, be a team that belongs there. You really feel that this team is that much better with Matt Stafford as opposed to the team that they had in 2018-19?
In today's game, yes. And so in 2019, we know what that team was built on. It was their run game, and Jared Goff would benefit from play action pass, and Todd Gurley would, who was the offensive player of the year. That was one of the few years in NFL history that we've seen the offensive player of the year not also be the MVP. Tom Brady won the MVP that season, but Todd Gurley was so good, he won the offensive player of the year, and he was really the catalyst. He buoyed this team under Jared Goff, who wasn't asked to do a whole lot. It was a lot of easy throws for him, and you even heard Coach McVay talk not negatively, but kind of like, yeah, this is exciting. I can't wait. I can finally open my offense now that Stafford's here. And they were not so subtle shots at Jared Goff. But when you look back at that Super Bowl, the New England Patriots, I won't say had an easy time because it was one of the ugliest played Super Bowls that we've ever seen, but they really stymied that offense. It was almost as if all of this motion for complexity's sake that Sean McVay likes to do, Bill Belichick just kind of scoffed and laughed at, and they ended up winning that game in ugly fashion. This Rams team, however, can score at will, and it almost feels like they don't need to do all those pre-snap machinations to make confuse the defense. They just have superior talent at the quarterback position. Their run game is obviously hampered because of some of the injuries they have, but with Cooper Kupp, who's evolving into a superstar into the league, and Robert Woods, who is just as good a 1-2 punch as there is, this team feels explosive. And you pair that with Aaron Donald, who's the best defensive lineman maybe in the history of the game, and Jalen Ramsey in the back, who is used so variable in this defense. They can do so much to you on both sides of the football, and it makes them really viable.
See, this is why you ask your big brother, who's been in it longer than you, who's been a player longer than you, who's going in the Hall of Fame, these questions. Because I actually didn't agree with you before having this conversation with you just now. I thought that they are a good team. I thought Matt Stafford was a better quarterback. But after listening to you break it down, you're 100% right. The gimmick stuff was the gimmick stuff for a reason, and you can't see the difference in Sean McVay and the confidence and the trust that he has in Matt Stafford and what they have now. It does look a lot different. And in the words of Calvin Johnson, it looks easy.
Exactly. And that's it. Let's not forget, Tampa was supposed to be undefeated this year, right? They returned 22 starters. I don't think that's ever happened in the history. Maybe back
No,
then.
it hasn't. It actually, Tiki, I said they were going to go undefeated because that's the only thing Tom Brady hadn't done yet. And then Matthew Stafford, of all people, shuts me up real quick in week 3.
Yeah. Now, look, they're struggling. They're struggling on defense a little bit. They've lost some of their secondary. It's why Richard Sherman, who was on the shelf really all season and probably wouldn't have played unless some teams got some injuries like they did. The Bucs defense is vulnerable a little bit right now. But you know this about this new wave of coordinators, and really some of them are head coaches, but they're also coordinators. It's the Kyle Shanahans and the Sean McVays and the LaFleurs of the world. These guys, they're doing so much with motion and using different players in different spots and confusing defenses and finding those mismatches, playing a lot of 11 personnel, so it's 3 wide receivers and a running back. Sometimes they go 10 personnel, so it's 4 wide out there, and that stresses teams who are traditionally, they want to keep run stoppers on the field. And so unless you're committed to playing with 5 DBs or 6 DBs at times, you're susceptible, and you're seeing these guys take advantage of it. And that's all Sean McVay has wanted to do for the last 5 or 6 years. Now he can finally do it because he has a quarterback who can read it all and process it all pre-snap.
Hey, Tiki, Tom Mazaway. I wanted to thank you for coming on our show here. Big Giants fan, grew up in Jersey. Wanted to ask you a two-part question. Two-part question on the Giants. Did Coach Coughlin chase you over to today's show too early? I wanted you to stick around a little. And then second part,
no, man.
Joe Judge and Daniel Jones now. Are they the answer in Jersey?
Yeah. I'll answer the first one first. He did not. Going into the 2005 season. So this was my penultimate season. I didn't know if I wanted to do it anymore. I mean, it was starting to take a toll on me physically, and there were so many other opportunities off the field, and we weren't that good, to be honest with you. And so I had started to think about leaving, and then both of our owners, Wellington Mara and Bob Tisch, got sick, and it became a year to honor them. And Coach Coughlin would say this all the time. This is the team of record for Wellington Mara and Bob Tisch. And I had my greatest season, 1,800 yards rushing and 500 or so yards receiving. And we got to the playoffs, and we got smoked at home by the Carolina Panthers. And I just remember after the game, it was like, oh, we'll get them next year. And it's like, no, there is not a next year. We were the team this year. We were the team of record. Don't give me that nonsense that we'll get them next year. And I almost retired after 2005, and I stuck it out one more year, and I could feel myself slowing down. Right? Yeah, exactly. But I felt myself slowing down. I had these, 50-yard runs that were now 22-yard runs. You know what I mean? These 30-yard runs that were now 10. Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, and so I was starting to feel it. You know what I mean? We played the Philadelphia Eagles week 2 or 3, I believe, that season. And Jeremiah Trotter beat the crap out of me. And I remember thinking, I can't get out of bed till Thursday, right? And I wasn't old, but I was feeling old. I mean, I had 411 touches the year before, and 300 and something my last year. Rushed for 230 yards in my last regular season game and 137 in my last game ever in the playoffs. And I was just like, I'm done, man. I don't want to do this anymore. We were 8-8. Like, we struggled to make the playoffs at 8-8. I didn't think the Giants were close. And guess what? They won the Super Bowl next year.
We know all about 8-8 here in Detroit. We feel like we're the king of 8-8s over here. Hey, Tiki, I'm glad Tom brought that up, though, towards the end and the transition into the Today Show, because I don't think that you get enough credit for being a trailblazer. So many former players went from sports to a sports show. You were really the first guy to take a chance and to take that leap sports to news, sports to entertainment. Now you turn on, you see Strahan on Good Morning America, or you see Nate on CBS. But it was you who really got that ball rolling and opened that door, kind of broke that door down, that we are more than just athletes. We can do other things. I'm just curious your sense of that, because I feel like you're a trailblazer and you don't get nearly the credit for knocking down that door.
Yeah,
100%.
well, I appreciate that. I think program directors looked at me as someone who lived in New York. I'm a University of Virginia alum. I understand the bigger picture. I can talk the bigger picture. I care about life and politics and social issues. And in fact, I ended up at the Today Show because I was working while I was playing at Fox News. I was doing Fox and Friends every Tuesday morning, which is our off day, getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to cover politics and world events. We talked nothing about sports, and it was fun and it was enjoyable, and I had a good time doing it. And I think my personality came off across on air. And then when I retired, the Today Show was a great opportunity for me to stay local in New York, not have to travel to LA with Fox Sports, and just be here for Football Night in America on NBC Sports, and then in the Today Show on NBC. And I loved it for three and a half years until I went on to something else. I don't know if I was really ready for that role. I don't know if they were really ready to know how to use a former athlete in that role, but I do consider it, something I'm very prideful about. And it started me on a new career in media that I've embraced for the last now decade. They were actually longer, 15 years.
Yeah. They threw you in the water and you learn how to swim. So it
Hey,
happens. Like
Braylon, I don't. It's a sad, somber moment, but you remember the shooting at Virginia Tech?
I do.
It was like April 16th, 2007. 100%. That was my first day on the job.
Holy
and because I grew up in Roanoke, which is only 40 miles away from Blacksburg, my mom and dad went to Virginia Tech. My dad was a football player at Tech. He was roommates actually with Bruce Arians. They sent me to that scene, that crime scene, my very first day. I remember getting off the air, at the introductory, "Hey, Tiki, welcome to the team." And something was like this, like chaos was going on behind the scenes in the production rooms and things of that nature. And I'm like, what's going on? You flip on the TV, you see this tragedy happening down at Virginia Tech. And then I get a call into our director's office who says, "Aren't you from down there? Do you want to go?" And I mean, talk about jumping into the mix of it immediately. 3 hours later, I was on a plane heading to Blacksburg, Virginia, and I covered that tragedy. And it was figured out, man. I didn't have really an on the field producer. I was just trying to find conversations to have and try to tell this story the best way that I could. Logged a couple of reports and sent it back to the Today Show for on air for the next morning. I mean, so yeah, you were joking about being thrown to the fire. I literally was thrown into it. But it was interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting journey I took.
That was I don't even know how to follow that up. My follow up is not going to be as cool. No, that's nuts. I think something like 19 were killed and 30 were shot or something around that.
That's right.
Yeah, it was crazy. But here's a on the lighter side of things. I told my mom that you were going to be coming on today, and she was excited.
Nice.
For a long time, my mom thought that you played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well as the Giants.
He did.
She thought you played for the Giants and the Bucs. So I had to explain to her how it worked. I said, no, there's two of them. There's two of them. No, but
that would be a heck of a feat.
Hey, I'm telling you, man.
That's so funny.
Before you get out of here, just talk to us a little bit about Daniel Jones and Joe Judge. Are they the answer for the New York Giants?
I hope so.
Because I actually like Daniel Jones. I just think the Giants haven't done well at figuring things out for the past 12 years or so. And I think Joe Judge has a shot as well. So, talk to me about that.
Yeah. Look, I think, and this is the second part of the question. This is why you don't ask two-part questions, by the way, because you never get to the second part.
No, they cut me off.
But to get back to it, man. So, look, I think we've seen some really good things from Daniel Jones these last couple of weeks. In particular, the Washington football team game on Thursday night 2 weeks ago. I mean, if he hadn't had a 58-yard run called back and they hadn't dropped, I forget who dropped it, Slayton. If Slayton hadn't dropped that 43-yard touchdown, his stat line would have been ridiculous. 350 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, and 150 yards passing and rushing and 2 touchdowns. It would have been ridiculous, his stat line. And so he hasn't thrown an interception yet. He did have that one fumble that people got all up in arms about, but he's not turning the ball over. He looks in control and command. Jason Garrett is finally allowing him to use his athleticism to get out of the pocket and make plays with his legs. And so I think the Daniel Jones question is being answered a little bit. But it's the other stuff that's starting to creep its head in, the injuries and the lack of consistency, the breakdowns in execution that are getting frustrating for Giants fans. You guys remember last weekend, Eli Manning was put into the Ring of Honor and his jersey was retired. John Mara, our owner, got booed at halftime. He was out there with Eli and he got booed. And it's just, I don't think it's a reflection on him. Yeah, exactly. But it's the frustration starting 0-3 and really the season being over before it ever gets a chance to get started. It's hard for Giants fans to accept that and realize that this process takes time. Like, people are calling for Joe Judge to be fired already. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, pump the brakes, man. Right? Look what's happening in Detroit. Detroit's losing some tight games, but Dan Campbell, former Giant, by the way, my teammate, love that dude to death. He's got them fighting, man. Seriously, like, they fight to the end of games. They're not laying down. And history would tell you Detroit's never going to get it right. It doesn't matter who you put at the head coach. The organization is crap, and it's going to be faulty all the way through. But Dan Campbell is changing that, and I think it's a good sign, despite the fact that they haven't won yet.
That is great news and great to hear from you. Hey, Tiki, we can't thank you enough for doing this. We really appreciate it. We love you here in Detroit. And please, your partner, Brandon Tierney, was here in Detroit for a short time.
Oh, that's right.
And made such a big
impact. He
talks
fondly.
Absolutely. People here in Detroit love Brandon Tierney as well.
The BT Express.
Absolutely.
That's right.
From his days at 11:30, The Fan.
That's right.
It was great stuff. So tell him Detroit sends their love as well.
Sir.
I definitely will. He'll appreciate that. He talks fondly about his time in Detroit. So good to see you guys, and anytime, guys. I'll be back.
Thanks so much. Tiki Barber, at Tiki Barber, and of course you can listen to him and watch him on CBS Sports Network. Tiki and Tierney. Great stuff.
Those are stuff.
He's got to go work right now.
Yeah, he's got to go right now.
Right now.
Hey, I was going to talk to him for another hour, but he's got another job to do.
How about what he said about the Lions there?
Yeah, that just makes you feel good.
Was that us, or was that a national guy?
Let's react to that. If we could. We got to take a break. We're late for one, but it doesn't matter. It's all good. We're here at Hall Financial.
We do what we want.
We are on the road today. Show's on the road at the brand new offices in Troy of Hall Financial. Call hallfirst.com. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you, Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Hey guys, it's Maz from mybookie.ag. We're on the road, but they are our studio sponsors 24/7, 365 days. Tom Brady going back to New England for the biggest game of the year, regular season so far, and the stakes have never been higher. Whether you're backing the Bucs or Pats this Sunday, it's always more exciting when you have money on it at MyBookie. Get in on the action. Take the game to a whole new level at MyBookie. Both teams sporting top defenses. Nobody knows each other better than Brady and Belichick, so maybe the under might be here. Slow and steady. Check that number out coming up on Sunday. Don't wait around. Join MyBookie right now. Bet on the biggest game of the year. Using the promo code Woodward, they will double your first deposit. Again, use Woodward to get double your first deposit with MyBookie. Start your winning season today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
You know, I want to pick up on something that Tiki mentioned, Braylon and Maz. You just hear a guy in Tiki Barber say that Dan Campbell is getting these guys to play hard. These guys are playing hard to the end. Right. It's how you change it. Everybody thinks that because it's in Detroit, it's never going to happen. It's a crap franchise. But
and he didn't play here. Keep that in mind.
No,
he did not
play here, but he did play with Dan Campbell. He knows him a little bit, and he was very complimentary of the track this was on. And I think a lot of people feel like that. You know, when you have some emotion after a game on Monday, like I said yesterday, people call it a hot take. I call it a frustration on a Monday of Lions football. But like you said, this could be on the right track.
Yeah, and I think that's why the fans are getting mad. Outside of liking Dan Campbell, liking his personality, you know, Tiki vouches for him, and everything that he seems to be doing, he seems to be genuine. He seems to be authentic. And like I said, there are things you can point into. I said the first half, and we've talked about it. First half of the Green Bay game, some good stuff in there. The end of the game against the 49ers, some good stuff in there. You know, you sack Lamar Jackson 4 times. Who's sacking Lamar Jackson 4 times?
Right.
Who's even getting to Lamar Jackson? So they sack him 4 times. So I said there are things to point out in his regime after 3 games to take some positives in it and to be potentially excited for. So, you know, he kind of backed that play and agree with that. I mean, they're doing some good things, but they're also just doing some bad things as well. But that's football. There are good things, there are bad things. Now it's just time to clean up if they can clean up the bad things and the things that they can control, like if they go into a game and they just lose a game because, you know, they didn't play a better game or they didn't play the better team, I could live with that. What we want to clear up, there's things you can get rid of, you know, certain timeouts in bad spots, you're jumping offside, fumbling the ball, center quarterback exchange, clock management is a big thing. Maz is worried and which frustrates him. Those are things you can control. If you can control those things and just lose the game because you lost the game to a better opponent, then we start to say less and less, and we point out more and more positive.
And Maz, as Tiki Barber was talking about Dan Campbell and the Lions and how excited he is about the track that they were on, I was able to see you in my peripheral vision. You were like thumbs up. You were going nuts. You were like, yeah.
We all love the guy. We want him to do well. But then Tiki broke it down. They're still the Lions. They're still the Lions.
No, he didn't. Is that what you took from that?
That's not what he said.
That's not what I took from that. I took that the franchise, like a front office type, type. But he likes what Dan Campbell is doing. Yes. He likes the way his – what were you listening
to?
Maz,
I think you misinterpreted it. I
did.
I think he was saying because it's the Lions, because it's a crap franchise, you just automatically assume that it's not going to get better. But because Dan Campbell is in the house, he has these guys playing hard and working towards something, and because of that influence, he believes it will get better.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot
no,
there,
it's
Maz.
quite all right. It's quite all right.
All right. Hey,
that just shows you some people hear some things, some
yeah,
people
right.
hear other things, right?
That's right.
I mean, he did say crap franchise, so I guess once
that's
you
all I
said
picked up on. I mean, I'm designed to hear crap franchise.
You heard
it's like, oh, you know what?
crap
Check
franchise. And
talking about the Giants. I got the Jets, Lions. Look at the 3 teams I root for.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, let's we're going to talk to Tom Thayer in just a little bit, Bears radio analyst, about the Chicago Bears Detroit Lions game this weekend. We'll do that in just a couple of minutes, but first want to get a thought on the Bengals and the Jags tonight, Thursday night football. Maz, I know you're very much into this one.
I love Thursday night football. They get some duds, man, but this is the battle of the last 2 number 1 draft picks, right? Joe Burrow against Trevor Lawrence. But look at the stat on the starters so far for the rookies. They are 1-10 going into this game. So someone's got to win. Somebody's got to do it, but Burrow's not a rookie per se anymore. It should be a pretty good game. 7.5's the spread. Bengals are home. Jaguars really haven't found themselves yet. Nah. Jamal Agnew, by the way, special teams player of the week, took that ball back 109 yards on that missed Matt Prater field goal. Former Lion. Love that guy. Wish he never left here, by the way. It could be an entertaining game tonight.
I think it will be a good game. You see what Jamar Chase is starting to come into his own. He has 4 receiving touchdowns this season as a rookie, which is tops. If you add all the touchdowns received by all the rookie receivers, they only add up to 3. Yeah. He has 4 himself. So I like Joe Mixon is getting on track. Joe Burrow. Which Joe Burrow comes to the game?
Oh, the good one.
You saw the game, too, when they played the Bears, and he had 3 interceptions. He's making all tons of bad reads. He just looked out of sorts. And Chicago Bears isn't really a good team. So which which Joe Burrow is going to come to play.
You know I'm a big Joey football guy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man, Joey
Lather him
football.
up.
Oh,
Lather him up.
Oh, man.
It's lather up time.
I think we're sitting too close together for me to go full lather up right now. But, yeah, I'm a big Joey football guy. So it's going to be a good game, I think.
Tyler Boyd.
And again, I will watch football every night of the week if I could. Maz loved the COVID Tuesday game.
Oh, and the Wednesday.
And Wednesday.
Yeah, there was a Wednesday game. There was a
love
Tuesday
those
game.
postponements.
Maz, you got a pick tonight for me, or you want to save it for the end of the show? Or you want to? We're talking about it now. Give it to me now.
I'll take the Jags and the points tonight. I think they stay within 6.
You like the total on this one?
I like the over on this one.
Ooh-wee.
Jamar Chase, another touchdown for him. Joe Burrow. Poor Trevor Lawrence. Guy's never lost 2 games in a row in his career. Now he's looking at 4 in a row if he loses this one.
Well, apparently if you date back to his freshman year in high school, he's only lost 4 games total in his life. If a loss tonight could be matching that whole total.
Yeah, what do you do with that? Like, where do you go with that energy after that? I remember, and I didn't have it at that level, but I remember playing at Michigan, and then going to the Cleveland Browns, and then looking at 4-12. It's like, what is this? I don't know how to come back from that.
How do you react to that? Hey guys, we're going to take a break. Come right back. We're talking to Tom Thayer, Bears radio analyst. When we come back, Lions and Bears from Soldier Field. We'll do that next. Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Legacy Partners Insurance. Everyone needs insurance. Nobody wants to shop for it. Why not let someone that's been doing it for over 100 years do it for you? Legacy Partners Insurance, an independent agency. They do the shopping for you. They will shop and have the carriers compete for your business. So why don't you give them a try? 248, make that 586. I just changed their area code. 586-209-4106. Better yet, go online to legacypartnersins.com/Woodward Sports. Tell you what I'm going to do. For anyone that goes on that website and puts their name in and lets someone try to beat their insurance price, we're going to give you a free chance to get a $50 gift card. How about that? A $50 gift card just for trying it out. Team Kennedy on the morning show is beating me out right now. So tell them Team Maz from the bottom line sent you. Legacy Partners Insurance.
All right, we are on the road at Hall Financial. It is the brand new offices in Troy. If you had a mortgage checkup lately, we want you to do so. Go to callhallfirst.com. Make sure you heard it. Make sure you let them know you heard it here on Woodward Sports. We are very excited for this next guest because
it's like 2 back-to-back.
This is
big-time guys in pass, man.
Braylon Edwards, I'm telling you, we are rolling here. How about this? Tom Thayer, Bears radio analyst, 1985 Super Bowl champion, one of the 100 greatest Bears of all time. Pleasure to be joined by Tom right now. Thanks so much, bud. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Let me start with this. The 0-3 Lions come to town. From the Bears' perspective, is this an absolute must-win for Matt Nagy?
Yeah, I think it's a must-win for the Bears. You know, you consider that's a division game. They're coming off one of the worst games in the history of the Bears. I've been doing the game for 25 years now, and I've never seen such a poor performance. And you know, because there's uncertainty at the quarterback position, even though you have a young guy in Justin Fields, I think it'd be better to go forward with him, even though they had the display of inefficiency they did in Cleveland. If you're going to get better, if you're going to capitalize on the assets that Justin brings to the tables, you have to keep on playing them. But now you got to completely construct a different game plan for Justin. You have to use a variety of tools that he has to keep the team off balance. But so far from what I've seen out of the Detroit Lions defensively, they sacked two of the better quarterbacks in the league, Aaron Rodgers 3 times and Lamar Jackson 4 times. And so, there is some concern about what Detroit's going to come into Soldier Field with. And one thing about the crowd in Chicago, if they don't have a better performance within the first couple series, that crowd's going to turn ugly, and it's going to be a really hostile environment for the Bears to go out and try to play efficient football.
Hey Tom, you mentioned the game plan, Bears game plan for Justin Fields. Earlier this week, Dan Orlovsky mentioned on ESPN that he believed that Matt Nagy should be fired immediately because either the game plan was incompetent or intentional. What was the talk in Chicago regarding that comment?
I think it was a little bit of shock because, everything you hear about Justin Fields is his athleticism, his 4.4 speed, his ability to throw on the run, a good job of reading when he gets outside the pocket. He didn't get outside the pocket on a play called until the middle of the second quarter, and he had a 9-yard completion to Allen Robinson. And, we were all sat back there and we were in shock because he kept setting up behind center every single pass. I think the most destructive thing to Justin was the consistency of the snap count. The right guard would turn around. Justin would give him the ignition. He would get in his stance. He would give the sign to Sam Mustipher, the center. Sam would raise his head and snap the ball. Every single play. You could see the defense getting in tune to the rhythm of that snap count, and then it just created inability for the offensive line to get off before the ball than the defensive line was. So I just think the subtleties that you can have in Chicago is you're going to be able to use a verbal snap count, and hopefully you can get out of that type of rhythm and then get Justin outside the pocket. Listen, if you sit back there and you drop back Justin Fields 30 times behind center, it's a recipe for disaster. Now, if you can get him outside the pocket and start getting the talented defense of Detroit to start chasing sideline to sideline, I think you're going to open up some interior running opportunities for David Montgomery, who's one heck of a running back, all 3 downs. And, this guy is capable of carrying the load. But if you keep Justin Fields one-dimensional, it's, again, like I said, it's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Tom Thayer joins us, Super Bowl 20 champion, of course, Notre Dame alum, and playing for the Bears, and now a radio analyst in Chicago. You got 3 quarterbacks on the payroll, Tom. Andy Dalton, Nick Foles was the Super Bowl MVP, by the way, and Justin Fields. Last week, I saw, some of the video from that game, and you see Nick Foles whisper to Andy Dalton, or at least mouth the words, "This offense is not working." Did you guys catch that? And obviously you caught it. You guys are Bear guys. What's your take on that? And how about never using Nick Foles? What's up with that?
Well, the first Jeff Joniak and I, who does the play-by-play for us, we get to interview Matt Nagy immediately following the game. And the first question I asked Matt Nagy, did you ever think about putting Nick Foles in the game? Because our last example of Nick Foles running this offense was in the preseason against the Tennessee Titans. He came in, completed 10 for 10, took him right down the field, and resulted in a touchdown. And, Matt kind of hesitated on the answer because I think he was still in such shock of the performance. He didn't – I don't know if he had time to consider putting Nick in the game because there was only 49 total offensive plays. But, I think – this offense didn't work with Justin Fields behind center. If you put that same offense with Andy Dalton or Nick Foles that have a ton more experience in reading defenses in the NFL, maybe it would have worked if you would have got Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Marquise Goodwin, Cole Kmet, Jimmy Graham, all the other pieces and plates. If you were able to get those guys involved, maybe it would have worked with a little bit more experience of a quarterback. But when you put Justin back there, it was unfair. You guys know, you see the other rookie quarterbacks, whether it's Zach Wilson in New York or Lawrence down in Jacksonville. It's difficult to master the language of a modern-day offense, then go out there and use it in a real hostile environment in Cleveland. So, does it not work with Justin at this point? Yes. Could it work with Andy? It has been up until this point. And could it have worked with Nick? Probably a little bit better than it was with Justin. So I think that's why all Bears fans are kind of on the edge of their seat right now, waiting to see what's going to be different about the offense come Sunday. Is Bill Lazor going to be the play caller? Is Matt Nagy still going to call the plays? Is Justin Fields going to line up behind center and try to do straight dropbacks consistently? If he does that, I don't know if there's a chance for the Bears. So there's a lot of wait and see that's going to, coming Sunday for the Bears fans.
Talking to Tom Thayer. And Tom, thanks so much again for the time. I wanted to ask you about the Lions. On the outside looking in, you've been with this Bears organization for the better part of nearly 3 decades, or over 3 decades, really. When you look across and you see the Detroit Lions organization, what do you see?
I see Campbell really trying to change the culture there. And I like his coaching staff. I like the fact that he brought in a lot of ex-players. I think their experiences can teach this group of guys what their expectations are quicker. When I think it was the opening game when the defensive back coach was kind of chewing out the defensive back on the sideline, it kind of represented to me there's a different seriousness within your building that is going to change the culture there. And I don't know if this is a good comparison, but the demeanor of Campbell reminds me a lot of the demeanor of Mike Ditka when he came to the Bears. And the first thing Mike Ditka said in the team meeting is, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is we're going to go to the Super Bowl. The bad news is most of you guys aren't going to be here. And that kind of put everybody on notice right there. You better work up to my expectations as the head coach or else. And so from what I've seen out of this team, I think it's the best 0-3 team in the league. And I think you guys have a bright future. I like your dual running backs. I like Hockenson at tight end. I think your defensive front is one of the multifaceted, versatile defensive fronts in the league right now. And so, they have the building blocks for success. And, I never pull against anybody in the division. When they play the Bears, I do. But I think what Campbell is trying to bring on board in Detroit, I think I think it's got the makings of success.
Hey, Tom, Braylon here. Here's a quick question. I want to go back to something you said about Justin Fields and rookie quarterbacks and when they first get into the league, trying to learn that language of the offense and break that down and being able to read and needing the time sometimes to take a year or two to really learn that, hone their skill, and then be thrust and punted, kind of like I guess you could say a Patrick Mahomes who had to sit behind Alex Smith for a year and a half. I understand that, but also you see teams like Lamar Jackson that have that success when you have a John Harbaugh know who he wants to draft in Lamar Jackson. They draft him, and then they cultivate an offense around him. Could that have been the case with Matt Nagy where they know they wanted Justin Fields, they got Justin Fields, they bring him in? Could you have not cultivated an offense, or them, excuse me, not you, could they not have cultivated an offense around him that he already was used to? Because there's a lot of that NFL lingo down there in Columbus, and then be ready because they have players, like you said, Montgomery and Robinson, who's actually a Detroit guy, and Jimmy Graham. They have players, and he's ready to play now. But when you only protect him with 5 guys the majority of the game and you just kind of leave him out to dry, it doesn't matter what he knows. Anybody would struggle in that situation.
Braylon, I 100% agree with you. That's why we were so caught off guard when he went into Cleveland and it was all straight drop back passing. In a couple of examples, Matt Nagy was in Kansas City as one of the coordinators when they brought in Patrick Mahomes. And he lived through that whole scenario of sitting Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith until he, came up to speed with the terminology and stuff. But then also as a broadcaster, I was broadcasting a game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Bears when Russell Wilson was a rookie. And he moved outside the pocket with such frequency. By the middle of the third quarter and all the fourth quarter, Urlacher and Julius Peppers and the rest of the guys, they were so tired they couldn't chase him. And then he was in control of the game. Listen, after playing in Cleveland and understanding how hostile that environment can be with the dog pound and everything, I was thinking, wow, you put Justin on the move, naked bootleg first play, bootleg the second play, RPO keeper, take advantage of maybe Jadeveon Clowney trying to guess and get himself out of position, and Justin takes him around the corner. And I'm thinking, a nice warm day up there. He's in great physical condition. We've seen him do it, throughout training camp. And then for that never to happen, I thought you put Justin Fields in a really unfair competitive position for his first start. And that's why, like I said, a lot of Bears fans and, everybody's sitting on the edge of their seats curious about what's going to change about the game plan. And, Matt has been a little evasive about what they're going to do in terms of changes, which is normal for a coach talking in the podium. But, when Bill Lazor started calling plays last year with Mitchell Trubisky, he changed the dimensions of the offense a little bit to fit more into what Mitchell did well to open up opportunities for David Montgomery. If Matt Nagy continues to call the plays and he calls the exact same game plan at Cleveland, I don't think Justin stands a chance. If someone's calling the plays and they're using bootlegs to the edge with Jimmy Graham or Cole Kmet, or trying to get out into the open to get Darnell Mooney downfield along with Allen Robinson, and then you're going to challenge the conditioning of the defense. And maybe the Bears can create a young quarterback advantage that way. But again, I agree with you that I don't think the game plan suited Justin for week 1. So let's hopefully see week 2 and beyond that this offense continues to develop around all the good qualities of Justin Fields.
I tell you what, I know who I'm putting my bid in for offensive coordinator for this week. Because after that breakdown by you, Tom, you're the guy that should be calling the plays for the Bears. Here's a question I've always wanted to ask, get in front of an 85 guy. And when you say 85, you're only talking about one sport. You're only talking about one team and one thing. Was that 86 team better than the 85 team, but it just had injuries? It's what I've always wanted to know. Was 86 better than 85?
Yeah, statistically we were. Statistically, the defense was better than they were in 85. Statistically, we still led the league in rushing. And we had a really good, powerful offense complemented by defense and good special teams with guys like Willie Gault and Dennis McKinnon. McKinnon was the punt returner. Willie Gault was the kickoff returner. So we were really good. But, McMahon was not healthy in the playoffs. And that kind of happened in 86, 87, and 88 because we had the best record in the league those following years after the Super Bowl. But McMahon never was healthy at the playoffs. We started Steve Fuller. We started Mike Tomczak. We started Doug Flutie, who came in with little notification towards the end of the season, and Ditka started him. So the biggest hindrance to our success after the 85 season was not having a healthy quarterback like McMahon that, we could attack on offense. Walter Payton was still strong and durable and playing well. And like I said, the defense was, still putting up statistically great defensive numbers around the league. But if you don't have a healthy quarterback in playoffs, Joe Gibbs took advantage of us a couple times and beat us in the first round of the playoffs after we had the best record in the regular season.
Man, if you can't win with the 85, 86, 87, 88 Bears defense, that lets you know how important that quarterback position is.
The Giants are pretty good then, too.
Oh, tell him the New York guy. Tell him.
I just wanted to bring that up to you.
I was waiting for the New York guy to come over.
The Giants are pretty damn good.
He got pissed. Yeah. He's mad.
He's going to fight you, Braylon. Watch out for Maz.
Go on, Maz. I'm sorry.
Tommy, last thing for you. Bears are fighting with
the
city of Chicago right now. And they're threatening to go to Arlington Park, which I think is a sin, first of all, because I'm a horse racing fan, and Arlington Park is one of the nicest tracks in the freaking country. And they're going to let it close, which I cannot believe. And now, are they going to go to Arlington, or are they going to rebuild Soldier Field?
I honestly think that they're going to try to get something done in Arlington Park where they can build a state-of-the-art, functional, year-round, closed-top stadium so they can attract the Super Bowl, the Final Four, the Big Ten championship game, all the other reasoning to build a stadium here. Because I live downtown and I drive by Soldier Field from the end of the Bears season until spring, and it just sits there as an open stadium. I think Bears right now, and around the landscape of the NFL, you need a closed-in stadium here in the Midwest. They have more than enough property for parking, to put a casino, a hotel, everything on property that you need in order to succeed. And A couple weeks ago, they came out and they valued the Bears as $4 billion. If the Bears put their own stadium together and they own a facility like that, it'll be a $7-8 billion organization. And you know what it's all about. It's all about the money, the business side of it. And, I think the fans of Chicagoland area, they deserve a state-of-the-art stadium. And I wish that they wouldn't have been narrow-minded when they did the $690 million renovation on the original Soldier Field, and they would have somehow put a roof over the smallest seated stadium in the NFL at 61,500. So I think if the city came over and overwhelmed them with some opportunity they could not turn down, maybe it could happen. But when you go in and look at the property that they bought, you're familiar with Arlington Park Racetrack, they have more than enough property to build the ultimate facility in the NFL. We went to SoFi a couple weeks ago. We're going to the Las Vegas Stadium in a couple weeks, and we've all been down to Dallas. So I think the Bears need to contend with those types of stadium if they want to continue to be a marquee franchise in the NFL.
They won't have beautiful Lake Michigan in the background. How about
the
Fog Bowl? That's going to be all gone.
I played in that game, man. I thought there was a hot dog stand on fire outside the stadium, but then the fog kept coming in. And listen, man, when you're playing against Reggie White in a white jersey, that's exactly what you want to happen. There's no film that will ever have evidence of how you played against that guy on that day.
Tom Thayer, we can't thank you enough for your time. So generous with your time today. Thanks for doing this, and continued success to you. Bears radio analyst, one of the greatest Bears of all time, and, of course, the 1985 Super Bowl champion, Tom Thayer, everybody. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it, Tom.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
All right, guys, we got to get to a break. Come right back. This is Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Hey, guys, Guardian Alarm, a good defense on and off the field. It helps you feel secure, doesn't it? Didn't a good defense always help you when you played offense?
Nothing helped the Cleveland Browns.
No. Well, Guardian Alarm would have if they would have just drafted Guardian Alarm. They also have convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights, your temperatures, detect smoke and carbon monoxide.
Oh, wow.
The number to call, Braylon, is a very simple one.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Let's do it.
800 Stay Out. What's that number again? 800 Stay Out. Call today. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. 800 Stay Out.
Hey, I saw that truck yesterday on my way home.
And
all I concentrated on was 800 Stay Out.
Did you yell at him?
I almost crashed on 696.
Oh, my God.
Obviously he had some thoughts on the game, but I think one of the bigger discussions is
the 86 Giants?
Well, that too, but the Soldier Field.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
it took over the conversation.
They're gone, man.
At the end, anybody that has been to the city of Chicago and just how it's landlocked by Lake Michigan there, and you drive by, you see Soldier Field.
It's beautiful.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Spectacular.
It is just majestic.
Yeah.
And they're probably moving.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. They're as good as gone. It's just a matter of when.
The one thing about him, he brought up some great points. And I had never even thought about it. That's why I love when Maz comes on. He gives you those things to think about that you wouldn't think about or have a conversation. They don't do anything with it. Like, it sits there after football season collecting dust, collecting snow, thawing out, and it does nothing. Like, nowadays, in order to have success, you got to have a dome, you got to have a retractable roof so you can you look at Chicago. Chicago is a hot spot because right next to Indianapolis. So for the Final Four, that'd be a hot spot. You know, the Big Ten offices are in Chicago. So you're talking about moving the game back and forth between Indianapolis and Chicago. That's something. You can do a lot with a retractable roof or an atmosphere like like
Who
that.
wouldn't want to go to a Super Bowl in Chicago? It's a phenomenal city. Absolutely.
If they came
phenomenal.
to Detroit, they definitely would go to Chicago.
And Maz, I am all for nostalgia. I am all for just like keeping tradition the way it is.
It's
but
over.
It really is hard to argue with the fact that you could attract so many events to the city of Chicago with a domed stadium. I mean, look at, Ford Field is one thing, but look at some of the newer builds like Dallas, like SoFi, like Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
You just named the 3 top dogs.
Those 3 right there are
true.
I mean, you just can't compare. So if you have an opportunity to put one of those stadiums in the city of Chicago or close to it, how can you not? And I don't mean to be funny when I say
how can you not?
How do you not?
But seriously, how can you not?
No, and I was going to take it a peg back and say, just look at Ford Field. Ford Field is a lot less than the other ones you named, the billion-dollar big dogs that you named. But since Ford Field's been built, I was at the Super Bowl at Ford Field. I've been to concerts at Ford Field. I've been to the NCAA championship where Michigan State lost North Carolina. I was at that game at Ford Field. I was at Ford Field when Wisconsin played Davidson, and that was Steph Curry coming out. Said Steph Curry coming out party. Like, I've seen a lot of things because it's been afforded. Because there's a dome.
Who's the singer? The Taylor
Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I mean,
Taylor Swift to put 80,000 people in there.
Ed Green. Ed Sheeran.
Right.
Ed Sheeran.
Taylor Swift ain't playing Soldier Field in December.
Nah.
I mean, it's just
good
not
luck.
going to
Good
be
luck
like
with that.
Hey, going back to our place, it should have had a retractable dome.
No doubt.
100%.
Our weather's great into December.
Yeah.
And it was at that time where that was the thought by everybody, was retractable roofs, so it's kind of a conundrum why they didn't go that route.
And again,
a little extra money.
It's funny, too, because we talk about the NFC North or the old NFC Central as being the black and blue division, and 3 of the 4 teams would have a roof over their head.
Yeah. Just Lambeau.
I mean, Lambeau would be the only one.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Those days are over, man.
Yeah, it is. Hey, guys, going to get another break in right now if I could. This is Armani and Edwards. We are on the road today at Hall Financial, their brand new offices in Troy. Give it a check. Hey, look, have you had your mortgage checked out recently? Because if you haven't, you should. You're probably paying too much.
Yeah,
Rates are at all-time lows.
Yes, they
Just
are.
go to callhallfirst.com. Callhallfirst.com. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you, and you will save some money.
What he said.
Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports. On the road at Hall Financial, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, it's Maz for Levels. Everyone knows now. Levels in Centerline is open. Starting right now, you can get 10% off your order by just mentioning us here at Woodward Sports. Whether you're in the store or on the app, make sure you mention Woodward Sports for your 10% off. Enjoy everything from T Grizzlies gas to D-Max Special Strain and edibles, all on sale right now. Download the Enjoy Levels app today and start saving.
All right, great stuff there. You got something, Braylon?
Some quarterbacks up. No, let's get into the Brewers. Oh, my God.
Man, did you see this guy? Throw up the tweet there if you could. So, Milwaukee Brewers rookie pitcher Devin Williams.
Great reliever.
Great reliever. Not a good reliever, Mazze.
Great.
He was a great reliever.
Devin Williams punched a wall during a celebration. Now out for the playoffs. Can you believe it? On the 10-day IL, but he's going to be out. Here is Devin Williams.
And his GM.
Sorry.
So I'm here with Devin. Devin has a fractured right hand. The injury is likely to keep him out for the remainder of the season. There is an outside chance that if we were to play in a World Series, that Devin could be available for a World Series. The injury will likely require surgery, will likely require a plate, and we're in the process of scheduling that procedure now. The injury occurred after our celebration on Sunday night, and Devin is here to discuss how the injury occurred.
So after our celebration, I went out to have a few drinks, and on my way home, I was a little frustrated, upset, and I punched a wall. So that's how it happened.
So there you have it. Poor Braylon thought I was going to jump out the window for a minute. I was just trying to not sneeze next to you.
Yeah.
I tried all my best.
All I heard was drink and punch.
So he had drinks and he punched a wall. And
it happens.
That's just really silly.
What happens? I mean, athletes, we get frustrated, especially, you had a little liquid courage.
Frustrated? They just won the division.
Oh, he was frustrated about something. Something frustrated him. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's something in the family.
I'd like to see if he wins the World Series, what he's going to do.
Braylon, I love you, man.
I'm just saying. You don't know everything. You don't.
I love you, man.
It's something.
You're my guy.
He wasn't. Where were the rest of his teammates?
Right.
He said he went out, had a couple of drinks. He didn't say I went out with the boys. He said I went out. I was blowing off some steam.
You know it was a woman. You know it.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah, it was. See, that's what I'm saying.
But
at least he punched the wall and not her.
Have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever seen anything like that?
I punched some walls.
You did?
I've punched some walls. But in terms of it causing me to not be able to be there with my team, I've never. I've been lucky. I've never done something on purpose that caused me to be out.
Yeah.
Not like a Gus Ferrant situation.
Oh, man, you're not going to be headbutting no walls anytime
That poor guy.
soon, right?
Oh, man.
Poor guy.
I asked him about that. So when I was coming out, when I was training for the draft, he was in Denver. He just so happened to be in Denver training. I think he was the Dolphins the year before in 2004. And I was training out there. That's where my agent was. And I asked him about it. We were, he was my quarterback and I was the wideout. And I said, Gus, what were you thinking? He said, I was jacked up. I was excited. I said, you were jacked up, all right. You jacked up. How's that 1 and 2, that lumbar? Yeah, but Stephen Tulloch.
ACL, right?
ACL.
Against the Packers.
That was like a Grammatica situation.
Martin Grammatica, Grammatica.
I mean, it's just it's so silly, but it happens.
Emotion runs high. Emotion runs high, and you can't control yourself. Sometimes in those situations, athletes they're wired different. If they weren't wired different, doctors.
That's a huge loss for the Brewers, by the way. This kid has really helped them, and they won the division by daylight, by 7 games. And you got the Cardinals who won 17 in a row till last night, right on their tail, but they couldn't gain any ground. 17 in a row, you're still 7 games back.
It says a lot about the Brewers.
Brewers are going to have a little trouble now, closing games.
Well, I mean, look, if you had to rank the teams, the playoff teams in the National League, the Brewers would be the last one, right? I mean, you're talking Giants, Dodgers,
the Braves
Cardinals,
would be the last.
I don't know.
Braves and Phillies. They've won 80 games each.
Yeah. I don't know.
Brewers have been in like 95 wins.
I don't want to play the Braves or the Phillies.
Don't argue with Matt.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you.
Don't argue
It don't
with
matter
Matt.
anyway because the
Not about baseball.
The American League's winning this year.
Yeah,
I
think
care.
so.
I don't care. Dodgers, all of that. You can have them all.
Padres,
American
Dodgers,
League is winning it all.
Oh, man, that's exciting
Tampa
stuff.
Bay clinched the home field last night.
Tampa
Congrats
Bay.
to them.
They're the only one that hasn't won. You think about Tampa Bay, they got no, they did win. No, they did not.
They went to the World Series.
Yeah,
they went to the World
lost
Series.
in 7.
That's what it was. They didn't win.
Yeah,
So they got to win now.
Yeah, this could be their year. I almost hope this is as good a franchise as there is in sports.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
With the talent that they've accumulated, for the payroll that they have, the way they do business there, it is a fascinating build. How good they out-aid the Oakland A's.
Yep.
If that makes sense. Like they took the Oakland A's model and just made it better. What's that old company, BASF? We don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. I feel like that's what the Tampa Bay Rays did with the Oakland A's.
Yeah,
they didn't come up with Moneyball, but they made it better.
When you don't hear about a franchise consistently, when you don't hear about turmoil, bad or good, and the only time that you hear about a franchise is when they're winning. Like you just hear about them winning games, strolling along, just consistently winning games. Like, that's championship franchise. Like, that's how you win championships. That's how you get people to come in. That's how you endure the fans. And that's what they're doing. They're doing it all the right way. You only hear about them when they're winning games, and it goes right back to not hearing about them. You don't hear anything about what they're doing, the moves they're making. You just hear about them winning games.
Not only that, they're so young, and they have the best farm team as well. They have a guy that no one has even heard of probably. His name is Wander Franco. He's going to be the best player in baseball in the next 2 or 3 years. He's playing right now. You're going to watch him. Watch it. Listen for his name, Wander Franco. Listen for him for next year. 4 days left to play.
Fish likes him.
You got the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mariners, and the Jays separated by 1 game.
Yeah.
Only 2 can make it. And Tuesday they play the AL wildcard game. It's awesome.
I think we might get a 163.
You might.
We might get a 163.
You might get a 164.
You possibly may. You know, going back to the one thing you said about the Rays, though, Maz, I think it was last week or the week before, and I don't know if this is still the case, but they said that the Tampa Bay Rays were in first place in every league that they played in AAA, in AA, in Single A,
That's
in
the
rookie ball.
The Bulls.
How you gonna beat that?
Right.
How do you beat that?
And it's not like you're buying athletes. I mean, I guarantee you, if Fish name me 3 Tampa Bay Rays. Silence, crickets. Honestly, I don't know if I can name 3 Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah. Blake Snell.
No, he's on San Diego.
There you go. There you go.
Kevin Kiermaier is a good one. I do know him. How
about Nelson Cruz, the Tiger Killer?
He's on the Rays now.
They traded for him.
Oh my gosh, 41 years old, Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, I didn't even try.
See,
but I didn't try.
But that's it. But you could name me the Yankees starting lineup.
Well,
you know what I mean? You could name me the Red Sox starting lineup.
But you always be able to
the
name
Dodgers.
But you will always be able to name those. You had to go somewhere like the Padres or something like that.
But again, this sustained excellence that the Tampa Bay Rays have, it's just remarkable. Guys, I got to get you a break. When we come back, I want to get back into Detroit sports, if I could. The Pistons are back in business. I do want to have a mention on the Pistons. They had their media day earlier this week. And I want to talk to you, Braylon, in terms of Detroit sports and rebuilds.
Okay.
Where are the Detroit Pistons, and how would you rank the Detroit sports teams where they are in their rebuilds right now? Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, where are they?
I like that.
We'll do that next. Ermani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. On the road with Hall Financial.
Yes, sir. Call
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Lady J.
Hey, gang, I wanted to let you know. So I go home after the show yesterday, and you know what my wife says to me? She says, honey, you look so crisp and clean. Who cut your hair?
Is that what she said?
That's what she said. She said, I've never seen your hair look so good.
It was smooth yesterday.
I said, ooh-wee. So all you got to do, you like things uncomplicated, here we are. We are uncomplicated for you. You walk in, you sign in, you sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee. We are open 7 days a week as well, open from 10 to 8. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It is wicked awesome. Right back here on the road at Hall Financial, the grand opening of Hall Financial's brand new office
have all these papers
in Troy.
over here?
What's that?
What is going on all these papers over here? This is
Braylon,
a ton of stuff.
You are as prepared.
This is too prepared.
That is over-prepared.
Because now I'm losing stuff.
Right.
You can't find his Northwestern Tech.
Oh, I found it.
Braylon Edwards is over-prepared. We absolutely love your preparedness.
I found it,
too, by the way. But
Give
we're
it to
at
us, Bray.
Hall Financial. We're on the road. New offices in Troy. Call them first. Hey, look, have you checked in on your mortgage lately? Seriously, rates are at an all-time low. It's almost silly not to make the call or go to the website and just check in. Check in. See if you can save yourself some money. Why would you be giving banks more money than they need? They got enough money. You keep your money. Call hallfirst.com.
Northwestern Tech. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential. Keyword, always essential. I want you to look up the definition of essential because that means it always will be needed. The heating and cooling industry. Learn more by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Also, they are starting jobs at 70+ grand as soon as you come out. I tell you what, if I didn't have the NFL, I would have loved that 70+ job coming out of Michigan.
Amen to that.
Northwestern Tech, baby.
My first job?
15.5.
You got it.
I remember.
Cadillac, Michigan, baby.
15.5.
15,500.
It's not bad money.
I should have went to Northwestern Tech. Clearly. Hey, guys, so Pistons Media Day was earlier this week, and we have not had a chance to weigh in on the Detroit Pistons. Braylon, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this basketball team. And that, Cade Cunningham was really –
him too.
Yeah, it's really the cherry on top here because this team last year was as exciting a basketball team as there was. You want to talk about playing hard. You want to talk about growing together. You want to talk about entertaining. That was the Dwayne Casey-led Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, 100%. I actually went and saw them play on Valentine's Day. Went down there to the game with Ryan last year and just had a chance to watch and observe this year, and they just were fun. Another thing besides the fun is they just were together. Like, they were laughing and joking together. Like, everyone, every player, the guys on the bench, the guys that weren't playing, that weren't dressed, the guys that were the stars, Jeremy Grant, who was having a heck of a year last year, won a gold medal this year. He was a part of that Team USA. So they were exciting then, and it was just fun to watch. Like, they lost the game. They played close against Zion and the Pelicans. They played close. They lost. But it was fun. You saw guys playing together. What do? They go out and they get Cade Cunningham, a guy at Oklahoma State. He is a player. Now, one thing that I observed during Summer League this year, he's a leader. He's a born leader. He's getting those guys ready. Maz, he's in those guys' face. He's giving them up. He's bigging them up on the sideline. You can see him coaching on the floor. It's nothing like, as a coach and Dwayne Casey, and having an on the court coach, a guy that can just get it done, talk to players, get in their head, and just be where they need to be and place people. I saw that, and I'm excited. I think this franchise is getting it right.
Pistons are lucky to have Dwayne Casey. He's a guy who was Coach of the Year in the NBA. We couldn't beat one guy. Couldn't beat LeBron James. So they let him go. They bring in Nick Nurse after that.
He's not the only one.
We get him here. Rebuild, obviously. Tore it all down to the studs. Troy Weaver's done a phenomenal job. We got tons of capital still left here. Lots of first-round picks, a lot of second-round picks as well. And they get the kid, Cade Cunningham. Matter of fact, Joey Radio at the game, at press conference the other day, he asked Cade, hey, the minute they drafted you, they sold $700,000 worth of tickets. Listen to Cade.
And on Woodward Sports, we had Coach Casey on, and he said the day after we landed that #1 lottery, the Pistons sold over $700,000 in tickets. How does that feel to you? First off, thank you. Secondly, how does it feel to know that you single-handedly did that?
I mean, thank y'all for wanting to come see me. I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, I mean, I grew up just loving basketball and wanted to, be as good as I can at it. And so to be here now is crazy. So I'm excited to be playing for a city that's excited for me, really.
I mean, look, he's excited to be here, and we Detroiters, we love it when people love us. And since day one, even since day zero, Braylon, he has embraced the city of Detroit.
You see what he said? He said, I'm excited to play for you guys. I'm excited that you want to have me here. It's a big thing when a player feels excited that a city, that a fan base wants him there, like wants them there, male or female, depending on any sport that it is. Anybody that shows that you want them, they're going to do everything they can to go out there and play well for you and get it done. And I believe him. And, then there was a whole deal with Jalen Green, how Jalen Green wanted to be the #1 player, and then he wasn't the #1 player.
Great rivalry right there.
So then he started talking stuff about Detroit. Hey, I don't want to be there anyway. It seemed a little grimy, or maybe I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to get his words mixed up. But basically he didn't want to be here after he didn't get drafted #1. Exactly. There's nothing to do. So you've already created a rivalry in 1 and 2 and that's how it used to be back in the 80s. That's how it was in the 90s. It was a rivalry. Who went 1? Who went 2? Let's go at each other. Let's see whose legacy is going to be better. LeBron and Carmelo. LeBron and D Wade. So or LeBron and Darko.
Hey, let's give a shout out too publicly to Joey, who was out there at Pistons Pistons media day. He got those clips up so quick.
Yeah, he did.
Turned them around, and that's one of the great things about WoodwardSports.com and on our Twitter feed at Woodward Sports. Just the quickness in which things get up there. So shout out to Joey.
I'm here because of Joey. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm here. I wouldn't be here without Joey.
Shout out to Joey Radio as well. Dwayne Casey, Maz mentioned him. I want to get a thought from Dwayne Casey as he talked about this year's version of the Detroit Pistons.
I didn't make one phone call and say, hey, get your butt in here. Then they were already here, working out, moving into Detroit, being a part of the community. That's the start of something special there. And that's the culture we want to build. That's the culture we've all talked about of building to making Detroit the place to go and be. And so it's so important to have that with our young players. And that camaraderie they have, they're kind of all on the same stage and line of growth, that it makes it really good. And you add a vet in like Jeremy, Kelly Olynyk, Corey Joseph, Rodney Magruder, all those are great vets for those young players. But they're all over the city. They've moved all over found places. So that's really good to see. And that's what you want to see, the brotherhood and the togetherness, amongst the team.
So I want to ask you about this, Braylon and Maz. Rank your rebuilds. Where are our Detroit teams? And I'll give you mine first.
You get to go first.
Do you want to go first?
No.
Do you want to go first?
I want to go. You go first.
Maz
wants
to go first. Because I think everybody's got the same.
Yeah, I think
this is
so.
easy.
I think there's only one flip between me and you two.
Okay, go ahead.
Tigers.
1.
Pistons.
2.
Wings.
3.
Lions.
4.
4 for 4.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And honestly,
but it took the Tigers way too long to get here. They're
here
now.
They're here now. I'm talking about right now.
But that's Maz though. He has to add that. Like that's what Maz does. And if he didn't, I would be mad. So I'm glad.
So I put the Tigers 1 without the benefit of seeing the Pistons this year because they haven't played yet. So that's the only reason why they're number 2 for me. They could very well
jump the
Tigers if they want to go ahead and make the playoffs this year.
I don't know.
Maybe win a playoff game for the first time since 2008.
Tigers are on pace to win 80 games.
Huh?
Pistons can't win as an 8. That's the difference in the NBA and Major League Baseball. If you sneak in as a wild card, second wild card in baseball, you got a real shot to win the World Series. If you sneak in the NBA playoffs, you have no shot to win the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe
no shot.
You're right on that. Maybe you're right on that. I mean, just to make the playoffs for this team this year, I think it has to be the goal.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. It's going to be looking at a situation like the Detroit Lions. Like, do they have enough firepower to get to the playoffs? I'm excited about them. They're young guys. There is a couple older guys. And Kelly Olynyk is a guy that has been on successful teams. He was with the Celtics when they had that run with Isaiah Thomas. He was with Miami when they had a run. So he's had some experience. But it's just a lot of young guys on that team, and I don't know if they're ready right now. But basketball is a different sport.
Yeah.
You can have one guy and accomplish a lot in basketball.
Is Cade Cunningham that guy? We'll find out. I mean, you've got the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champs. I mean, obviously they benefit by drafting Giannis.
Brooklyn Nets.
But Brooklyn and
Celtics still.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good teams out there. Do want to make mention, too, that the Red Wings rebuild may have taken a hit today. Jacob Vrana out 4 months.
Shoulder, right?
Shoulder surgery, and that's a really big hit for them, isn't it?
Yeah, especially whenever you say 4 months and talking about a shoulder, sometimes you can have torn labrums or sometimes you can have, sprained AC joints and things of that nature. But whenever you say 4 months, you're talking about real surgery. You're talking about going in there and actually fixing something and then a rehab process. So that's not good news.
And honestly, Maz, we all put the Red Wings above the Lions, but is that just because of Steve Yzerman? I mean, is it based on anything that you've seen?
No, it's all on Yzerman because I go with Mac. Mac says follow the Yzer plan.
Yeah.
So he's been here. He's put his mark on the team,
right,
and he knows what he's doing.
But is that a 7-year plan too? I mean, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
I'm saying,
like, if that's a 7-year plan and the Lions are a 7-year plan,
then we have to wait and see.
Then we got.
But wait a minute. The Lions are trying to change a culture in 7 years. The Red Wings culture is phenomenal. They just took a back step.
Yeah.
They're 4-time Stanley Cup champion that works in our building. I mean, we've seen the Red Wings win. The Lions, we've seen them win one playoff game in 60 years.
I'm over for a break, and maybe this is unfair to ask you guys this now, but I said something yesterday that, again, got a little bit of flack online. So I want to ask, can you change a culture without winning?
No.
I don't think so either. You can't do it. Not this one. Not this Lions, because it's just this. It's not third-grade peewee football.
You heard Tiki Barber.
And
yeah.
What did he say about the old Lions?
It's a disaster.
They were a disaster.
I would absolutely agree with you because, like I said on the show yesterday, as my stepfather always says, or actually I said this on Tuesday, the Detroit Lions, another exciting loss. They've been close for a long time. Like, they've been in games all of Stafford's career, even when they go 5-11. Even when they go, well, not the 0-16 team, but the Lions are always in games. They're always there. There's always one play away. It's always something funky. It's always last week with a field goal kick that hits the crossbar and bounces in. They always play. So to agree with you with adding a little something behind it, you can't change without winning because they've been doing that for a long time, being in games and being close. You got to win some games, and you got to put some W's in the column.
I am not stubborn enough to think that my opinion is always right, so that's why I wanted to ask you guys that question.
That's a fair question.
Can you change a culture without winning? In professional sports, I don't believe you can. Now,
is winning 5-11 or is is winning 5-12 or is it 8-9?
Right. If everybody's trying hard in third grade, you could. That's a.
Well, they do that now. They give those participation awards.
I am way over for a break. Bottom line videos of the day. We'll do that next. Armani and Edwards on the road at Hall Financial.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line. Bottom line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey, everybody, who doesn't want to get advantage on their sports book? Everybody does. That's why you need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their best bet computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year, give you the best bet recommendation, and, of course, they give it to you the reasoning behind why you should put the bet in. Bets for Week 1 NFL games, Thursday and Sunday, 13-2. Not too shabby. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now, download BetQL, or you can go online. Try.betql.co/WSN. Don't forget, WSN. Use the discount code at payment to get 25% off. Don't miss out on your chance to beat the sportsbook this football season with BetQL.
All right, team, this has been an absolutely fantastic day. All three shows have been out here at Hall Financial.
Fun.
And it is fun to be on there. And the people here at Hall Financial are so hospitable, so nice, and we can't thank them enough for their partnership with us and just their flat-out hospitality as we've kind of invaded their space here in Troy.
I was so excited because I got here early because, when you go somewhere new, you want to make sure you get there on time, know where it's at, get the lay of the land, get set up and do the notes. That I had a chance to watch pretty much the whole Big D Energy show, and I saw Hall Financial, like the fans, well, not the fans, but the people that work at Hall Financial that were in the audience today for our show. And they were so good with Joik and D-Mac and Neil that I was excited for you and Maz in the show today with Alex. So they did a good job, and they gave that energy, and I was excited, and I think it carried over to our show too. So.
And they fed us.
Yeah, and they did. They definitely did. Sandwiches, wraps, little bean spread, some chips, some soda, some water,
How
some
good
fruit.
is that, right?
Hey, man, who's got better than us, man?
Nobody.
Don't forget the Starburst.
If you're paying too much on your mortgage, gang, and look, it doesn't hurt you to give it a shot, right? I mean, it's all about saving some money. Yeah. These banks don't need any more money than they already have. So please do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, and you can call Hall Financial or just call hallfirst.com. Call hallfirst.com. That's the website, and you might as well give it a look. right? You might as well see if you can save yourself a little bit of money.
While
but
we're here,
it is the time of the day now, Braylon and Maz, where we do our bottom line videos of the day.
let's do
And
it.
we take you to Florida again. Yesterday I showed you that guy that caught that crocodile in the garbage
He
can.
did
You
something
remember
else?
him?
Yep.
Well, you never saw how the video finished, right?
No,
we didn't.
Let's show you the Crocodile Hunter Part 2 today.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. Flip-flop hunter.
Oh, my gosh.
Get out, Croc.
Call Guardian Alarm.
I was just thinking that.
There he goes. It's like
Stay
it's safe.
out.
It's like it's safe now.
Stay out.
Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about. Now, he needs to stay in.
How about that?
Stay in that stuff.
That guy is going to be on every talk show.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you right now.
That guy needs to be the new host of Fear Factor because he has none. He absolutely has none.
He does not. That's great.
Give me one more, Maz.
I got a couple more for you.
Good.
Yesterday, the Rockies' Trevor Story, been a great player for the Rockies all these years, played his last home game yesterday, probably his last game in Colorado. They let him take the field on his own. Check this out. What a lousy crowd.
Man, that
I
crowd was
feel like the movie Major League.
Man.
I think
Hey,
I clapped.
come on, get up wherever you are.
That's Trevor's Story for crying out loud.
Man, that
Coors.
guy-
They had too much Coors.
Would you rather the Tigers go after Trevor
5
Story
people there.
or Carlos Correa?
Correa.
Yeah.
Correa.
Age 27.
Let the Yankees go after Story.
It's 5 people at that game.
All right. That's great. That was a great gesture.
Yeah, it was a great gesture. Too bad it was
Wish the
nobody
fans
there.
would have. Maybe they fell asleep. They didn't know he was even coming out.
They're probably all high, isn't it?
They probably were.
It looked
You in
empty.
Denver?
It looked empty.
Smoke all that
Well,
weed.
they're one of the worst teams in the league.
Oh,
This is true.
Here's one for you from Saturday night. Oregon head coach Mario Cristobal. He's talking to his guy. I guess you can call it talking to Chris Hudson. Chris Hudson just makes an interception, and then, of course, he's got to pose at the end of it, and he gets flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. Watch his coach get in his grill, but the kid takes it.
This is not high school anymore.
His head coach is not real happy with that.
This is not high school.
After the conclusion of
Nope.
play, unsportsmanlike conduct.
You cost us
I don't
3
know why I
points.
don't like this one. I don't like.
Resulted in a first
You
down.
don't like the coach?
I don't like.
The kid
Now,
took
I
it. Look,
think
I'm
this
fine
goes
with
a
this
bit
one.
too
I'm
far.
good with it.
I don't
there's
like
a
the
point
throwing
where
of
you
the
get his
headset.
stop being
attention,
a wimp.
but
Embarrassing him.
you know you're
Yell
on
at
national
me.
television.
Don't embarrass me.
The reason why a coach has to talk to a guy like that, this is a team that is number 1 in the country right now or number 2 in the country right now. They're going places. They have an easy schedule. They're going to play in the playoffs. They're going to potentially play in the national championship game. You have to get that out the way now. You have to prepare him for the rest of the season, for the bigger moments when this could affect you. Imagine if they're playing Alabama in a playoff and he does something like this,
Yes.
and it cost them a major, and it cost them field position. It cost them a kick. It cost them something. You have to do this now. I'm all for it. He didn't put his hands on him. He didn't put his finger in his chest. He told him, I don't like what you're doing, and he didn't use those words. The kid took it because the kid understood. I fudged up. But sometimes these kids don't care anymore. It's like, hey, look, I did it for the moment. I knew this was going to happen. I did it. It happened. I'm good.
I don't like it, Bass.
No wonder your number's not hanging up at Grosse Point. Come on, man.
Hey, man, get your hand off me. I'm not with you on that one. I'm
Why
not
you
with you on that
you just like to dig me,
I'm
don't you?
just-
You just like to
He's
dig me.
digging.
You don't like anything.
Maz is about to blow up over there.
All right.
You see the light got red?
I can tell you this. You would never be part of the Bills Mafia. Never. How about this? For one of the best gender reveals ever,
I don't
you
like
got to go to the Bills Mafia.
To the top! Go to the top! Let's go! Hey!
Where is this at in Buffalo? Buffalo doesn't look like that.
Where?
Oh, my gosh.
Down this bar. Here we go. It's a baby boy.
There we go.
Oh, my gosh.
Man.
But his dad has a broken back.
Little did Little does he know he's coming into a interesting world.
That is incredible stuff. We love the Bills Mafia.
Yeah,
without question.
They're really they're out there.
They never let you down.
No.
And you can tell they're going to a new company to get those tables because that was a clean break.
Yep.
That was a clean break.
Did
They're
you
going
see
to
the
a new
table was
company.
almost broke to begin with? It was kind of like
Hey.
leaning in the middle. I think that table's been used before.
Well, they had to. Remember the tailgate table that was on fire that didn't break?
That might be the one.
That's why they got to do it. Hey, guys, it was a great day out here at Hall Financial. We got to thank Stick as well. We got Stick. He's got this setup going. He's got so many responsibilities at Woodward Sports.
Adam
He's got a
as
lot
well.
going on.
Adam,
Joey,
Mike.
Adam.
Joey.
I hate naming names because you're missing
You'll
somebody
forget
for
somebody.
sure.
Let's leave it there.
But
Alex.
how about for our show personally? Fish, Alex, Maz, Bray, myself, we can't thank everybody enough.
Yeah.
And again, callhallfirst.com. Thanks for having us out here as well.
Hey, man, I'm Edwards. He's Armani. And this is Woodward Sports Network, The Bottom Line.
And we will see you
tomorrow
afternoon.
Take care.
Of that, Calvin, you're watching at home. You've got Sundays. Matt Stafford kind of lighting up the league right now with the Rams. What's your take on Matt Stafford and what he's doing now?
Awesome. He's out there. And, the funniest thing, I feel like that first game, I feel like I was watching the game, and I feel like I saw Matthew was like, at some point, it was like, is it really this easy? Because it ain't never been that easy in Detroit. So,
you heard it here. Detroit versus everybody. I'm telling you, Detroit versus